and so the rest is that in wallets that are accessible for people to sell? Why are they not staking it if they're circulating?
Now let's go into ancient history. Half the supply went to an origin address. We can see on chain what the origin address was doing. It used to stake all its coins for a very long time. And that had the effect of lowering the market cap because it removed them from supply, and market cap's based on circulating supply. And it had the effect that everyone else would get paid less interest because it was sucking up all the T shares. And then nobody knows why, but for some reason, the origin address would send to other addresses. And then, whereas those other addresses used to stake for a long time, they stopped doing that. Nobody knows why. But the results of that ceasing were that the market cap is a lot higher and the APY that people earn is a lot higher because they're earning interest and they're earning inflation, the stakers, but the origin address isn't. It's not, it doesn't have the stakes that everybody else has. So it's getting diluted.
Excluding the origin address, what percentage is circulating after that?
I mean, look, if you want to get into the real nuts and bolts,
no, I don't want to get into the nitty. I just for my own, so I can understand.
So I got to tell you this: if I go into HEX trading, there's a guy in there named Gunther, and he's an accountant, and his nickname his title is Gunther the Accountant, I believe. And he put together a spreadsheet with what he thinks the actual circulating supply is, and he thinks it's something like only 2.5% or 5% or something like that, some really low number.
So everybody that gets HEX then just takes it and stakes it essentially in order to preserve their value for the future.
Well, it's even crazier than that. First of all, the average stake length is 5.7 years. Used to be 4.8 years. Keeps getting longer because when your stake ends and you don't have your T-shares anymore and you want to stake to get them back, now the share price is higher. So you got two options to get your shares back. You can add some more HEX or you can stake for longer. And so people believe in the system more and they want their T-shares back and they keep staking for longer. So the average stake length is 5.7 years. This is a miracle. You know how many 10 and 15 year stakes you got to have to get an average of 5.5 to make up for all the 1 year ones? You got to have a lot, man. And so people that are whales that have long time preferences, they're buying millions of dollars and locking it for 15 years. It's absolutely awesome. I dreamt it would happen. I built it to happen. And then the first time I saw it come true, I nearly had a heart attack. Some guy doubled the price on a single candle and then staked it for 15 years. And I was like, is this fake? This can't be. It can't be. And that was the first time I ever saw it. And that's when I knew it was going to work. I was like, yep, we're taking over the world. That's it. Because
it reminds me of, these very high deflationary currencies, essentially, where people, every time you get them, it burns an element of the supply every time those transactions are sent, like BOM token. I don't know if you're familiar with BOM. Came out as an experimental time. Not that I'm comparing directly to BOM.
It's the same thing as just increasing your fees. You're like, hey, let's have really high fees. Instead of low fees, let's just make the fee 10%, which is a copy of proof of weekends, which went to 0, which is now called, they copied it and called it SafeMoon. Great. You invented something that has 10% fees. Well, that's the opposite of progress. That's the opposite of good.
I don't think SafeMoon is very good personally.
No.
It's anything with safe in the name of it is probably not.
Usually, yeah. Usually. Rug proof, you're getting rugged. It's rug proof, you're getting rugged. Yeah.
Yeah. That shouldn't even be a marketing thing.
Right.
That's not something that anyone should ever put on a project.
So what I was saying about like the supply stuff is, if you thought it was crazy that the average stake length is 5.7 years, and you thought it was crazy that people are locking up millions for 15 years, and you can look at their address and see how much dry powder they're holding, and it's a lot. Imagine this. Let me go look up this address real quick. This is the sacrifice address. The sacrifice address has $500 million in it right now, aside from the 26.5 million for charity. Of that, 400 million of it, or 367 million of it, is HEX. 2.6 billion HEX has been removed from circulating supply into this address. And I see every other coin that hits this address get dumped for stable coins, but the HEX doesn't appear to move anywhere. Doesn't appear to get dumped. Just sits there.
This is just going to be another one of them Craig Wright type situations where we don't know who's in control of the address?
Well, I mean, I don't want you to have expectation of profit from the work of others, because this is the opposite. Here's what ICOs do. ICOs make you big promises, and they sell you a lot of crap, and they take all your money, and then none of the crap they tell you comes true, and then you lose your money. That was 2017 for everybody. And in Pulse, the code's already done. It's complete. You can go to gitlab.com/pulsechaincom and go read the code. So I do the hard thing and make you no promises. And it's hard. It's clunky. It sucks. It'd be so much easier to be like, huge promise, huge promise, huge promise. And I bet you what? People love it. But I won't do it because it's not legal. So I do the hard thing. I do the legal thing. And then people crap talk me for it. And so like, I wish that if the law were different, I'd be able to say all kinds of cool stuff that I can't say. It's because I have to make sure you have no expectations.
I understand.